hear you. I can hear everything.
It's weird, huh?
It's a trip.
Okay. All right, here we go, y'all. What's going on, y'all? This is Mark Piazza of MP Media, the Hunger One podcast. I'm here with my good friend and soon-to-be family member, Desiree Alferes, IFBB Pro. We're here again. We're going to talk about like fitness, and we're going to talk the things that don't really people talk about with fitness when it comes to relationships, things we do now as a I would say more experienced fitness person versus an amateur. We're just beginning, and we're just going to let this thing roll. So, Des, talk about yourself a little bit. Where got you into fitness? What got you motivated to change your life around and just build a physique?
Where to begin? So I was an athlete in high school. Grew up in not the best environment. Addiction runs really heavy in my family. So I chose to use school and track predominantly as my outlet. I became very competitive, and I utilized that to kind of focus myself and to drive myself and to keep myself accountable. And that allowed me to go to college, which then I had my son my freshman year of college. So track kind of went out the window. So did my physique. I gained 60 pounds in my pregnancy with Logan. And I went from a 130-pound track athlete to 200-pound woman with a child inside of me. So it definitely was a huge transformation I wasn't happy with. Mm-hmm. And then the toxicity of that relationship did not help that situation. I did get to a place where I couldn't look at myself in the mirror. I thought I was fat. I thought I was ugly. I saw every stretch mark. Mm-hmm. And I began to start running again. And running allowed me to lose weight. And then I went home for Christmas, and it was right after I left my son's dad. I had gotten down to about 119 pounds, so it was really small. And my grandmother, love Nana, she would say some of the funniest shit. Basically was like, Mija, you lost your ass. You have no ass. I was like, what? So then I was like, well, what do I do? I was just running. That's all I knew. And it was a matter of, okay, well, I started trying to go to the gym and just reading the machines. And slowly it became, okay, I had a little routine. I had, got some of my weight back from, obviously initially a lot of it was stress and running. But then I was kind of like that skinny fat. I was going out on the nights that I didn't have my son. I was drinking. I was dancing. And
I get it. Single parent life.
Yeah.
When you're still young, having a child.
Yes.
Because I had my child at 24.
Yep.
So I totally get that. You're still feeling young, but you got that mentality of I'm responsible still.
Yep. It's like I graduated college and I went from working, 2 to 3 jobs in college with my son. And on the days that he didn't have him, I was working. Or that I didn't have him, I was working. And then all of a sudden, I only had one career, and then I didn't have Logan, and so I was like, what do I do with myself? I was going line dancing. I picked up, I got really good at it. It was great. I loved it. But I spend some more time with Amy. She'll
It'll happen.
It'll happen. It'll happen.
It'll be miserable if it does. I'm not going to lie. Sorry, babe. Sorry.
So then I was doing Spartan races to kind of rechannel that dedication, because going out had kind of taken a forefront, and I didn't like that just because of the addiction that runs in my family. I didn't like seeing that transition of spending more time in the bar than spending on myself. And people at the gym started asking if I was doing bodybuilding competitions, and my initial reaction is like, ew. No, I don't look like a bodybuilder. And in my mind, I think the big buff chicks, that's all I knew at the time of bodybuilding. Iris, Kyle, and I was still lifting, but I was lifting to, I was doing more functional training at the time. And so someone showed me Nicole Wilkins and Dana Lynn Bailey, because that was the year that they had both won. It was
Pioneers
2014. Yeah.
Pioneers,
yeah.
Especially Nicole.
Yes.
Probably one of the greatest figure competitors ever. I had the opportunity to watch her win all of her titles. Yeah. It was awesome.
Yeah, and I looked at the two of them and I was like, I guess I'm kind of like somewhere in between. And so it was 8 weeks from the show. I decided, you know what, I'm going to do it. Didn't know what I was doing. Crash dieted, did a ton of cardio, got with someone that's like, oh, I know a posing coach. I was like, perfect. Met with her like twice before I stepped on stage. I was like, what do I need? Borrowed one of her suits. Totally didn't fit at all. I got the stripper heels, big platform ones. Oh, yeah. It was, then I realized they measure you. So then I stepped on stage for comparisons, and I was like 3 inches above everybody else. I was like, that's really awkward. And I only did novice, but I won the overall. And that's I was like, well, what does that mean? They're like, nothing. I was like, nothing? And they're like, no, you got to do open. And then open, if you win, qualifies you for nationals. And then if you win nationals, it qualifies you to get your pro card.
It's a shame they don't tell you guys, is the newbies that are coming in that have no idea what the classes are. No idea.
Nope.
Just explain it. Like, look, this is just, the class is just for beginners and fun, but you can also compete in open. You don't just have to do this.
I feel like they've gotten better about that. In the last 10, 15 years, they have really gotten better about encouraging people to cross over. So it's very rare that you'll see someone they actually have true novice now and novice, which true novice is like you've never stepped on stage. And then novice, obviously, is if you've never won a show. So anyone can do a show as a novice competitor until they've actually won as a novice competitor. And then they move into just being able to do open. So it kind of blurs it. They added that extra category, but they do encourage them as they're beginning in the MPC to do, if you're going to do novice, if you really are true novice, do true novice. Then you do novice and you do open. So, I mean, they capitalize on it.
So when you won the novice, did that spark you to continue? Like, oh, I could probably do something with this.
Oh, well, just being on stage, I loved it. So my thing about track was always when I got on, like, the training was a necessary evil. It was, it cleared my mind. It gave me my own personal outlet, and I was in my own bubble when I was running for track. So then when I switched over to the gym, again, that gave me that same thing. But there's just something different when you're on the track and you hear that gunshot and you go. And it's like when you're on the track and you hear that and you go, there's nobody else around you. Everyone else disappears until there's someone in front of you. And then that's all you see. And that's all you see. And it's like a target on their back. And the goal is to just pass them. The stage was very similar to that feeling for me. It was everything else. Like I was aware of it, but my adrenaline goes, my excitement goes, and that desire to just perform is there. And it's like, I stepped on stage and immediately was like, I can do better. I can be better. I need to actually practice this. I need to do this right. I didn't do this right. And so I linked up with a nutrition coach, and then my best friend, Joe, was a personal trainer at 24. So I actually reached out to him, and that's how I found the nutrition coach. So she taught me macros. She taught me how to understand a little bit about food. And Joe and I started training twice a week that was in November of 2014, instantly, right after Christmas, started prep for the Governor's Cup in 2015. And took no time off. I was like, I just got to get better. Yeah. And so I linked up with Joe. He was training me on legs twice a week because I realized like my grandma said, my butt kind of disappeared. I realized you couldn't see hamstrings, and I was my quads showed, but they were soft, but I've always had bigger legs. And so I was like, I need to get better. I need my legs to look better. And that was my focus, was to bring them in better. And we did. But it definitely, from that moment, it was like a trajectory. It was nonstop prep show. I did Governor's Cup. I took first in novice, first overall in novice, and then first in my class at Gov Cup and qualified for nationals. And I turned around, that was in March, I turned around that June, or was it July, and did USAs for the first time.
This was 12 years ago?
10 years ago.
10 years ago.
2015 was the first USAs that I did. Yeah. Or yes, I guess it's still 4.
I'm hella old, dude.
I guess it's still 9 years ago.
Last time I was on stage was 2012, y'all.
Yeah.
I'm old.
I mean, it's okay. I started late in the game too, though, in all fairness.
You started late.
I did.
Way late.
Were you?
Yeah, I started working out when I was 26.
I was too.
And I'm a guy.
What does that mean?
I just wasted all my youth of testosterone, free testosterone.
I wasted all my youth too. I don't know. I guess I really didn't, but.
No.
Yeah, we started around the same time. We were both 26. 26 was my first show.
It's never too late. Remember, it's never too late. Look, I always tell everyone, like, if you want to just change your life, you can be 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 years old. If you just want to get healthier, just start moving. Just get back out there.
Get a routine.
Don't think at any time to do anything is too late. Even with business, get into a serious relationship, anything. Time is irrelevant. It means nothing. It's just a number. You can change your life tomorrow if you want to.
100%. Life is a series of choices. That's all it is. Every choice you make leads to the next one, and then the next one. And that's how you create your reality. That is what reality is.
What was a physique that you saw that just said, I need that look. I want that look?
Heather Dees.
Yeah.
Heather Dees. I still to this day absolutely love her. Love her physique. Love just, the presence that she has when she's on stage, the confidence, the balance in her physique. In my mind, I think it kind of hit me my second or third year competing when I'm like looking at these pro athletes and I'm like, am I in the right division? Because I started getting asked that a lot. Like my legs, if I really get lean enough, could probably switch over to women's physique. And I know that, and I've known that forever. However, my upper body is barely after 10 years balanced to my lower body. And when
she is legit Diane Lynn Bailey's twin. I get that all the time. Did you just shoot her? No.
I get that every time I'm at an expo. I get people randomly walking up to me like, "Oh my God,
it's not just the hair.
Just like
it's
Dana
not
Lynn
just
Bailey."
the hair. It's not just the hair. It's the balance, the symmetry, everything.
I take that as a compliment.
I would. Fuck, you kidding me?
Yeah. No, I admire the hell out of her. She was a pioneer in the sport. But when I look at physiques and I try and figure out whose mine is the most comparable to, I still think it's Heather Dees because, I've got a smaller waist, but I'm not the smallest. But my quad sweep, like her legs are very much like mine. My goal has always been, and it always was going into getting my pro card, was to get as conditioned as she gets because she has this fullness and this conditioning on stage that's absolutely beautiful. And even when she made her comeback two years ago, I think 2 years ago she made a comeback. I was just still in awe. Like that woman has the most beautiful shape.
I think
I love it.
All the years I've been watching. I've known you for 3 years, but I've seen you compete. 4 or 5 times already. You get overlooked. And then you get critiqued, I think, too harshly. Like every time I'm watching, I'm like, what? And I'm a pretty good analyst. And when I see a lineup, I can pretty much, okay, they're going to be, first call out, blah, 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 and where the lineup's going to fall. And I'm pretty good about it. But every single time, maybe like once or twice, I think you got overlooked. You weren't compared correctly. And I think, in my personal, because I know the politics of bodybuilding, that's what.
Sometimes I think that's it. But in all reality, every time I step off stage, the feedback I get, the judges are looking at everybody. And regardless, it's always going to be, you're going to get some form of the same critique because in our division, there are just certain requirements. And yes, sometimes do I feel like I get overlooked? Yes. I kind of in part think that's because my last name is an A. So I'm one of the first people out on stage every single time, if not the very first. And when I have a lineup of 20 to 40 women sometimes, it's, I'm one of the first ones out. And then I'm off stage for so long before I'm brought back out. And the bottom line is it's such a competitive sport that it's like, okay, some shows I under carb up so that I stay tighter. Sometimes I carb up too much and then I look a little softer. So when it comes down to it, I've talked to several of the judges. I've talked to Tyler. I've talked to Sandy, and I don't need to be bigger. They just want to see a little bit more density, which is fine. A lot of the upper body muscle, in comparison to the lower body muscle, it's not as dense because it's newer. My legs I've had forever. So when I hear the same critiques, it's like, okay, it's just an ongoing process to get that balance where I need it with my physique. More so with the right conditioning. And so it's a fine line for me trying to fill up and not have all of the carbs go to my legs so that my legs blow up. And I really think it's just going to be, I've got to get fucking peeled. I've got to get so lean that it doesn't matter how many carbs I have or how much I eat, that it doesn't just go to my legs. Or I just have the cuts in my legs so fucking deep that it's like, okay, well, my upper body just needs to be full as hell too. So, I think it's just going to be a conditioning game. Unfortunately, even when I get leaner, my legs don't really shrink much. So most people, as they lean down, muscle parts will tend to kind of shrink down a little bit as well. My upper body does. But my legs, I've had them forever.
Your gene pool is crazy.
I know. It's genetics.
It's stupid.
Dude, Logan's legs are already like it too. Stupid. He loves it. He's like, Mom, look at my quads. I'm like, yeah.
I'm not just saying this. Everyone. Her gene pool is crazy with the wheels.
Hamstrings.
Like Amy, perfect example. Just goes in the gym, does a good job, doesn't train like a bodybuilder. I swear to God, has better legs than 90% of dudes. Yeah. I'm always like, what?
I gotta give her. You gotta give her credit though, because she was a cheerleader.
Oh, for sure. She's
calves,
that
her
athlete,
calves. I'm jealous of her calves.
But that athlete is that athlete genetic is. She was swimming.
Yeah.
Cheerleader. But that athlete is still in your gene pool.
100%.
Legs is a different thing. You don't just build them without any kind of because genetics play a big part in body.
100%.
100%. Whether you believe it or not, genetics is bullshit. No, it's a legit thing. Yes, you can build a good physique without good genetics, but
a top physique you cannot. And that's the reality.
And that's
of
why
it.
I quit trying to chase the pro card.
Okay.
And now, on that topic, we're going to jump into it. Combine this: bad genetics, then anabolics. Enhancements. When someone doesn't have good genetics, they typically have to up the enhancement regimen. Like for myself, when I was in my peak days of bodybuilding, I was not the most safest dosage individual out there.
Okay.
So for me to develop a decent looking physique that was competitive on the amateur level, I would have to take so much. But if I got a pro card to compete with the elite, that danger zone would have to go even higher.
Yes and no. So with retrospect to that, people that go pro that don't necessarily have the best genetics, no amount of gear is going to change your genetic structure.
But we don't know that.
But if you have a good coach, they should be advising you of this, regardless.
Yeah, but think about this. I know so many coaches now, we talked about it on the side, giving females 100 milligrams of testosterone a week.
It's insane. It's absolutely
insane. That's coaching nowadays. A lot of it's that these schmucks, these morons, providing a lot of people with these unsafe protocols.
But then that goes back to the individual as an athlete. As an athlete, it is your responsibility. It's your responsibility to actually do your research on these coaches. Talk to their past clients. I know I can list probably 10 coaches off the top of my head that are phenomenal coaches, that are knowledgeable in gear, that, for us women are very, very well educated and very good at monitoring and pay attention to health markers. Health markers are everything. People that jump on gear and don't monitor their health, it's insane. And a lot of them are young. They're young athletes that jump into the sport. They decide they want to go pro, and that's the only thing that matters to them.
And then they play the ignorance is bliss. Like, if I don't get my levels checked, I'm fine if I'm not dying.
Or when they finally do, it's their coach's fault.
Yeah.
When in reality, if you're going to cross that line, it is your responsibility as an adult, as an athlete, and as a human being to be aware of your body and to know what you're doing to your body. When I started this sport, I competed completely natural. I didn't touch anything for the first 5 years. And I wanted to get my body to a point where I'm like, okay, I really can't get that extra edge. And I knew going into the pro league, I wasn't going to sustain the muscle mass that I needed in my upper body if I didn't touch something. I have been a nominalist, and I still to this day am. I haven't touched anything since I stepped off stage a year ago. My off season, and I know people don't talk about this shit, but it's like the reality is, I mean, if you can't eat properly and you can't fucking train properly, you're not going to be a successful pro anyways.
Nope.
And on the flip side of that, going back to the genetic aspect, you can't stretch your clavicle to give yourself a wider, look. You can't, I mean, unless you want to go get your ribs removed, I guess, then you can make your waist smaller, but that's a surgery in itself. And I don't.
Colombia, Brazil.
But so the reality is, if your quads don't develop quad sweeps, you're not going to be able to just train and change that. Your quads, if you have straight up and down quads like Danielle and Bailey, no matter how hard she trained, her quads were still very blocky looking. Yep. And that's just her genetics. They were beautiful, but at the same time, it was very more streamlined, straight up and down look. Whereas my quads are fucking huge. They sweep out. They curve. They're massive. But that's genetics. My son's got it. My aunt gets it. It's just, you can't, no amount of gear can create that shape, and it's naive to think that increasing that gear and pushing your health to a very toxic and unhealthy level is going to change that. And so the reality is, education is key. Knowledge is key. It's doing your research. It's doing your homework.
Yeah, but look, I said this a few days ago. Regardless, doing your research, it's all out there nowadays. But look how many people go in the gym, they still do shit wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, everyone's relying on someone else. Meal prep companies, they don't know how to fucking cook these days.
That's terrible.
Everything is handed now, provided. So when people get these coaches, I feel they're just relying on them, not doing their research. Because there's a smorgasbord of coaches now. There's a plethora. What's the cheapest person get a coach now? They don't want to get the quality. They just want, I got a coach. I got this.
Well, I mean, at that point, when you end up with gyno or, your body stops digesting things the way that it needs to, and you're having issues like leaky gut. I mean, the reality is if you're not taking care of your body, the only person that hurts is you. It doesn't hurt your coach. No. It doesn't hurt the person on the other end of the computer in another fucking country that's telling you what to eat, The reality is it is your body. You only get one body. Either you take care of it or you let it go to waste. And at the end of the day, you're the one that has to live with that.
When you think back to when you're an amateur, do you ever think about what some of the crap you did versus then and now? Like, man, I wish I knew then what I know now on this. It was something like dramatic, like, wow. Personally, for me, training tempo, form, speed, contraction. Ask, like yourself, when we work out, show me something. Just ask.
Yeah, like today.
Just ask.
Pull into it. Yeah, tweaks, small tweaks.
Those things with the training aspect, I wish I knew then as I do now. Injuries would be prevented. I wouldn't be so broken as I am now. 3 surgeries in people, okay? Legit. But would I go through it again? Absolutely, because I love this sport. I love the lifestyle. I love training. Yeah. I may not compete anymore, but I love training. It is like breathing, it's like eating, and I like to eat. That's why I train too. So would I change anything? No. But that aspect of training style and tempo, get rid of ego lifting.
Yeah.
Remove all that crap in the back in the day. Just gone. Not even worth it.
So looking back as an amateur, one of the things that I would really kind of focus in on is taking an off season. You know, in 9 years, 28 shows, I think prior to getting my implants done, I think the longest off season I had was maybe 3 months. I would do 3 months of an off season, and then I would start prep for 3 months. So it was like 12 weeks of eating and training hard, and then 12 weeks of prep, and then a show. And that was every year for the first 6 years. And then when I got my implants in 2021, the end of 2021, I was forced to take 6 weeks off the gym completely. I'd never done that. I'd never taken more than like 2 or 3 days off.
That's when we did an off-season photo
Yes,
shoot.
that was our first. No, it was our first photo shoot after my implants. We shot the year before, and then we shot that January. It was right around my birthday.
Shot twice before that. Was it twice or 3 times?
Yeah, twice.
We did the gym shoot, then the beach shoot.
Yep.
Is that what we did?
No, we did the beach shoot first, then we did the gym shoot.
Yeah.
And then it was about 5 or 6 weeks after my implants. It was right around my birthday. You did a Monterey shoot, and then I came down and did that first off-season shoot. My implants were still up in my face. I was still getting used to them, but that forced me to take 6 weeks completely off the gym. And then on top of that, my recovery time was a little slower. So it was a good 6, maybe 10 weeks of just slow down, but I had taken 3 months prior to my implants off. So it was like a good 5 months off. And when I started training again, I grew. And I was like, whoa.
Funny how that works, huh?
Like, man. And so I'm really excited for next year because I've taken this whole year off and I've done nothing but train and eat and just let my body recover.
I am beyond proud of you for that.
It's been a challenge.
No, I know it's all
such a struggle.
It's a mental, it's an ego, it's everything because look, as an IFBB pro, you have a stature to uphold. I have fans. It's a thing. It's a legit thing.
I think even more than that, and I think this probably a lot of other pros can relate to this. It's not even just that you have this image to maintain. It is that you are so used to looking a certain way and you're so used to that routine and you're so used to stepping on stage or anticipating when you're going to step on stage. It's a mindset, it's a lifestyle that you get so stuck in that it's almost like watching other people go through it. You get like FOMO. You really do. Like you're totally like, I should have done that show.
However, but the other mindset is when a pro, like I've seen it 1,000 times. I'm on the forums. I'm reading all the dumb comments on social media. If a pro misses a year, the negativity that comes out from it, like, oh, they're done. Why aren't they in the show? Oh, what's going on? That the thought of the judges will now just forget about him.
Yeah.
The fans will start forgetting about him. I can see that in a pro's life.
I think it depends.
Look at all the Olympians. Like, he's like Rami, for instance. He's not hit the Olympia anymore. Yeah. Everyone thinks he's done. He's done or
he's taking the time to transform his physique to what it looks like, what it should look like now.
Heal up, get better. But if you're not consistently showing up,
it is very true though. Like you do have to show up. You have to show up to stay relevant.
Sponsorships as well.
100%. I mean, I don't have those, but
still,
but I get it.
But it's not like the early '90s to the mid 2000s and 2010s when sponsorships were money. I
mean, now it's just if you're nowadays, Instagram famous,
you got to make money for them. Like you got to sell product and.
I mean, everyone's an Instagrammer.
Oh God.
So, they know it all. They know how to grow your glutes.
I'm a sponsored athlete. Here's my 10% off coupon. It's. I mean, that's the sponsorships now. I feel it's unfortunate. I feel like unless you're top 10, you're not getting any money, as you should.
Yeah, in the open world, I mean, when you look at every other category, it's top 3, and even then, it's nominal. If you're not in the open bodybuilding, your pay is nominal.
Yeah.
If you're in the women's divisions, it's even worse.
Worse.
So it is what it is. You don't do this sport for the money unless you're an open bodybuilder. You don't do the sport for the money. That's just the bottom line. There is not a lot of money to be had.
That's the bullshit part of it. I feel.
Yeah.
It's like you guys are professional athletes, yet. Where's the money?
Yeah.
Where's the money?
I mean, back in the day, it really was magazines. It really was the fitness. You were the fitness industry. And now we have all of these fitness models that are now in the magazines. And someone's just writing a blog in the magazine and giving information versus it used to be these athletes actually talking about their experience and, fitness and nutrition. So Instagram, social media, online. That's really what it is. The dominance of online has transformed the fitness industry tenfold. It's changed the pay structure for professional athletes. Bodybuilders actually used to make a career in bodybuilding.
Big time.
But over the last 15 years, that has just kind of dwindled down. And don't get me wrong, if you've got a good following and you make your name in the industry, you can make money, but it is what you do with that career. It is utilizing your sponsors. It is starting a clothing line. It is, starting a nutrition supplement line. That's what a lot of them do. But it's you build your reputation and then you build your brand. And from there,
a lot of dudes and women don't do that early enough, though.
I know.
Jay was the man to do. He's the blueprint.
Smart. He was smart.
He was still competing.
He was an athlete, but he was a businessman.
Yeah, but he figured it out. Like I got to start this branding for post.
So did Labrada, though.
Yeah.
Like, look at Labrada. Like, he's still relevant. His son is now a phenomenal athlete. I know, right?
I hope to look like that at his
God,
age.
me too.
God.
But they were smart businessmen. Gaspari too, Rich Gaspari. Yep. When you look at, there's his era, they did it right. And C-Bum's doing the same thing. Yeah. He's taking his name, and while he is at the top, and he's building his brand, and he's building his financial success off of it. But it's not just the stage. Like, yes, he makes money from being on stage, but it's the YouTube, it's everything. It's everything that supports his brand. And that, I think, is where people get so confused, because they're like, oh, C-Bum, he's a pro bodybuilder or, classic physique Olympian, and he makes so much money. But it's like, you guys, nobody talks about what he's doing to do that. No one talks about the time that he puts into his YouTube, all of his content that he has to produce, his sponsorships, investing in these companies financially. Now he's part owner of Gymshark?
Yeah.
But it's like, he's investing in that now. So he's part owner. He's not just sitting here getting paid. He's investing in himself, and he's investing in his future. And he's a successful businessman on top of being a successful bodybuilder.
Guys, always strive to go forward with your careers, relationships, everything. Don't just get comfortable doing what you're doing. Always try to evolve yourselves. I'm a pusher of that. So whenever I work with a personal, like say a physical therapist that wants to get known in the community he's working in, I'm like, you gotta start making content of just your face, man. You gotta start making content and show the expertise you want to show, so people will come to you for that. Build your brand around that, then you can go in multiple directions after you get known. Same thing with bodybuilding.
Yep.
All these individuals are just not just competing and sitting on the damn internet and comments, investing. Not just real estate, but in branding of apparel, supplement companies. Start doing it, guys.
Yeah.
Don't
be
just get
smart
comfortable
with your money. Be smart with your money, because you got to keep it coming.
Yup. So this is another topic I want to touch base with you, and it's very, I would say, touchy, because not many people talk about it. Relationships and fitness.
You mean them shady DMs that come through all the time?
Oh, dude. So, being a competitor, dating a competitor, married to a competitor, it's not easy. When I was competing, my fiance wife at the time decided to compete with me. We wanted to strangle each other. I didn't like that.
Yeah.
You doing the dishes? I'm too tired. Well, I'm not too tired. Just those little shits go nonstop. Especially as the prep gets deeper and deeper, as you know, levels of energy go down, patience, fuses get shorter.
Yep.
Communication sucks.
Yep.
Irritation levels high. Sucks.
Yeah.
What would you recommend to those in a relationship where two are competitors?
Both are competitors?
Yeah. We'll get to the one that's not,
Okay.
We'll start with the hard one first.
I've done them both.
Yeah. We'll start with the hard one first. When you're both the competitors, what do you see as a easiest traveled path to the finish line?
So, too often, it actually tears relationships apart. And the sad part is that's not necessary. One person ends up doing more, giving more, and the other person isn't. And the sad part is too many people allow that to damage their overall relationship versus just in that moment, in that prep, and reevaluate after. Taking that time after you guys are out of prep to actually try and rebuild and reconnect, because the reality is it's a selfish sport. And for athletes, when you're seeking to win your regional show, or you're seeking to win nationals to get your pro card, or you're seeking as a pro to go to the Olympia, it's not that you don't care about the other person and their prep. It's that at the end of the day, you're still trying to obtain your goals too. And both parties have to be aware of that. That yes, you want the other person to succeed and you're investing in the other person as well. But at the end of the day, you're still trying to reach your own goals. And if you're both going to do it at the same time, you both have to have that understanding that it's not you guys against each other. It's you guys supporting each other against the world to obtain your goals. And, I feel like too often we allow it to do more damage than it's necessary. Communication is everything, I think.
Everything.
I think the more you can communicate when you're in prep, and even if that means taking a step back and handwriting a note, or sending them a text later when you're not mad or you're not upset. And I statements are fucking huge. I have learned over the course of the last 10 years and, therapy and just self-evolvement and books, you cannot say you when you are talking to someone else. It creates a defensive nature. It creates a sense of
a shield.
You're putting them down here and you're putting yourself up here because you're telling them how they feel or how they think, when in reality it's everything that's going on inside us is our own. It is an internal process. Our reality is created from our perception. And so whenever, and this is honestly over probably the last year has really kind of kicked in for me, when I am dealing with a struggle, whether it be with my son, with work, with my boyfriend, I am feeling this way. Yes, you may have done this, but it caused me to feel this way, and this is how I perceive it. And acknowledging my perception may be wrong.
Yeah.
But this is just how I'm feeling in this moment. This is what's going on inside of me, rather than putting it on the other person. And I feel like in prep, we get so I that we're afraid to say I. When in reality, that's all it takes is hey, babe, I'm struggling right now. I'm hurting. This is hurting me. I want to talk to you about how I feel. I want to talk to you about what I'm going through. and I know you're drained, but I just need a few minutes for you to listen, and can you just hear me? And they should be able to do that. You know, it takes those walls down.
Big time.
And too often in prep, especially, we get so testy that those walls are going to jump up immediately. Like we don't have that patience to listen. But if you're like, I actually need you just to hear me. I need you to hear me. And I feel like it could solve so many problems. Like, just looking back at all the fucking dumb fights I had, it's like, it was stupid. You know, it was minute little things that could have been prevented. If I had just taken ownership of the fact that I was emotional and I was moody and I was tired and I was testy and, you know, fuck, I'm a female. I'm needy sometimes. Like, whatever. You know, it is what it is.
Yeah, us bodybuilders, when we're prepping, we're needy as
right?
the big babies.
I know, you men are worse than women sometimes.
Yeah,
the cold turns into pneumonia real quick
don't
with you
think
guys.
you're tough, guys. I see right through that shit too, because I was there. Don't worry, everybody. Don't act tough.
Yeah.
Don't act tough. Just like you said, but communication is key. Like, I remember going through prep and just stating to my partner, look, I'm just tired today. So if I piss you off, it's nothing personal. It's just, I'm tired today. So I'm apologizing ahead of time. That goes far if you just communicate.
100%.
People just want to assume and stay quiet and just get doesn't work. Then the competition inside you guys starts to elevate. Well, him, I'm going to train harder than him, or I'm going to train harder than her. I ate more meals than them today. I'm going to do better. That bullshit starts coming up. It does. It does. It's a competition. Oh, I got up for cardio. She didn't. I remember that going on.
Oh, I mean, I guess I didn't really see that side of it.
Yeah.
But again, I've always navigated bodybuilding and work too. So with my schedule, it's always been a little different. But I mean, I know for me, it was more of a, like, I put in the effort. I text you. I call you. I check on you. I ask how you're doing.
So you're keeping score.
Yeah,
that's the competition. See,
it became a keeping score of who did or didn't do something for the relationship. Not around the house. Like, granted, like in the past, like I'm pretty. I can't say I'm super clean, but I'm pretty organized. Like, my space, if it gets too dirty, I get anxiety. So I'm pretty good about managing that. And, you know, obviously I have a kid, so it's kind of nice because I'm like, hey, yo, clean the kitchen. But, you know, my significant others in the past, we're both clean people as well. So I didn't have too much of a struggle there. It was more of in terms of the relationship, who was or wasn't pulling more weight. It was financial, who was or wasn't contributing more and or, you know, much, and or what they have contributed. And it became you know, obviously this sport is draining financially. So when you're being stressed and your money's dwindling down and or, you know, your bills still are consistent and your energy's not there, it's your stress levels get heightened, and you get to a place where it's almost like you need more from that other person, and it's not communicated in the proper way. It's more aggressive than it needs to be. So
it's tough.
Yeah, it's tough because
two competitors in the house is tough.
Yeah.
So, you know, I always
cost of food triples, you know. And then it's like, well, you eat more food than I do because you're 200 pounds and I'm 130 and I eat like half of what you eat. Or I cooked the last 3 days. It's your turn to cook, you know.
It's a tug of war.
Yeah.
It's a tug of war.
Yeah,
it's tough.
a struggle.
For those that survive it, you know, hats off, kudos. But it's
share your tricks.
I mean, the best.
Not for me, but for other
the
people.
best. But I'd say the best advice for anyone that's about to go into that: communication. Tell how you're feeling. Tell what is alienating you. Okay, what's bugging you. Don't put up a wall and point fingers.
Yep. use those I statements.
Yeah.
Promise they help.
Yeah.
Promise.
You know, if you want to just continue the relationship, guys, and your competitors, you just got to stay as cool as possible.
And just remember, it's okay to take a few minutes away from each other. It's okay to take space. It's okay to, go to a friend's house for a night, or go to a parent's house or family member's house, or just, I need a night away. I just need to breathe. I need to regroup myself. Especially in prep, like it's not a bad thing to have a night or two away from each other. No. It's actually almost better, because then you come back and you're like, I miss you. I miss our routine. I miss, us. And it creates that consistency again, that cohesiveness again. But when you're feeling that you get to that point, like instead of fighting and be like, I don't want to do this anymore, you really do need to say, let me take a step back. I just need some space. I just need to clear my head. I just, I love you. I like you. I want to keep doing this, whatever it is that you say, but take a step back and realize what you have, because you're in that situation because you believed you had something worth it. And if it's worth it when you're not in prep, but then all of a sudden you're in prep and it's not worth it, chances are it's still fucking worth it, and you're throwing away a good thing because you're too ignorant in that moment, too blocked by your emotions and or lack thereof, and the lack of clarity, that you throw away something really good.
Stress will hinder your prep, guys.
That too.
Remember that.
That too. Cortisol.
Cortisol is a son of a bitch.
Yep.
So how do we remove stress? Follow these steps. My ultimate advice to competitors two competitors in one house: one preps, one's off season. Then you switch.
Yeah.
Support your competitor. Support the one going through the prep. They have the grueling job of feeling miserable. Yes, off season's miserable. You're shoveling food, feeling sick, and want to throw up, but you're not lacking energy. You're full of that. You can handle a couple more chores around the house while they're suffering for their roles. But that is where you guys are both supporting each other. You're just taking turns. That's key. That's simple.
Yeah.
You don't need to compete at the same time. The hell with it. Yeah, let's do the same show. That'll be cute. It ain't cute getting there.
Yeah.
Ain't cute getting there.
I bet.
Fuck that.
I haven't tried that one.
I did that
But
twice.
I did prep at the same time, so
Yeah, let's get on stage together, get pictures. Cute. No, it's miserable. Don't do it.
I mean, if you want to do like a cut and do photo shoot, that's fine.
That's different.
Hit him up.
Yeah, it's different. I do that all the time. And she's a coach now. I'm retired coaching, but dude, hire Des. She does the photo shoot dates. The programs. So, but what's your thoughts on like one's a competitor, one's not a competitor? That's not even in the fitness kind of like world. They just work out a little bit, but they're not.
It's a struggle too.
Yeah.
No matter what, like everyone can say the grass is greener on the other side. You gotta fucking water the grass in order for it to stay green, anyways. No matter where the fuck it is.
Dry grass here and there too.
Well, that's called usually weeds.
Yeah.
You gotta pluck those, get rid of them.
Yeah.
But so in reality, being with somebody who is not a competitor, they do still need to understand the lifestyle. Because I feel like if they don't, then they're not going to understand what you're going through, and they're not going to relate. But with that, something that I have learned, and something that I think is extremely important for probably most of us competitors, because in order to be a competitor and to really dive into this sport full-hearted, you have to be a very passionate person. You have to be a very intense person to some degree.
Yep.
There's some form of intensity inside of you that uses this as an outlet. Therefore, the person you're with has to understand that.
That you're a little crazy.
That you're a little bit fucking crazy.
Yeah. You can.
But they also have to have something too. And that's something that I've learned, and out of all of the people that I've talked to, even if they're not in bodybuilding, you want them to be passionate about something. They have to have a drive that matches yours.
Because it relates.
Yes.
It relates regardless.
They have to understand that intensity because they have to have felt it. And whether it's, another,
just
sport,
a career. Just a career.
Career, sport.
Same thing.
Honestly, but I feel like it has to be somewhat athletic. Like they have to have been at one point an athlete and or still somewhat athletic. Because I don't think a successful bodybuilder can can long-term wise, at least from my experience and my awareness, have a very successful relationship with somebody who's not into their own health and fitness. So
yes, on that level, yeah. But I'm thinking about more of the mindset that goes in being a competitor.
100%.
And when you say they have to be passionate about something, that mindset has to be passionate in something.
Yep. It doesn't matter what it is, whether it's, riding a bike, dirt bike riding, you love trucks and you're like building and wrenching and, whatever it is that you're passionate about, you have to have something that lights a fire inside of you. So when our fire is burning bright as fuck, that you could get burned, you understand why, and that's usually peak week, right after that show, going into the next show, because we never just do fucking one show. But it's that understanding and that relation and that awareness that they've got to have. They've got to be passionate about something.
Yeah, passion has to be in everything. I think, in relationships, fitness, business, has to be in everything. So when you're with someone that isn't into the fitness, like you said, they have to be passionate about something.
Yeah, they've got to have something. At least for me, like, I want to see a spark in your eye. They need to have what makes them shine. They need to have their moment too. And I feel like as competitors, we want our significant others to have that too. We want them to have that same spotlight in one area or another. And at least for me, I don't always want to be the center of attention. I don't want to feel like I'm not giving back and I'm not there for you. So for me, and I think for a lot of other competitors, we want our significant other to have something that they're passionate about so that we can support them. We can support them in their endeavors, because it takes a lot to fucking support us mentally, emotionally, physically, and sometimes financially. Like if you don't, if you're doing this and you got a significant other that's got to pull the weight financially, sometimes they do. And the reality is you want to give back.
Yeah.
And you feel a lack if you don't. So I don't see that working when there's not that give and take. You have to have that give and take. It's just, and like I said, it's something about that spark in their eye, seeing them light up, because they're going to see you light up when you get on stage. When your physique gets to that point that you want it to, and you're like, fuck yeah. They've got to have that fuck yeah of their own.
Yeah, I agree. So that leads me to this other sensitive topic.
There's lots of them.
I know. But I feel this is one we can really relate. I'm always going to, like with you, I'm going to hit topics that you and I both can relate, because not many people can. Fitness and having kids. Tough one. Deep one.
Yeah.
When I was coming up, started fitness and got into bodybuilding, I loved it. However, my child was young. So I have a little regret.
Okay.
I put so much into fitness lifestyle that I feel I didn't give my daughter some childhood experiences that normal people do. Let's go camping. Let's go eat that cake. Let's go have pizza night. I was so stuck on watching Jay Cutler DVDs, eating chicken, asparagus, and rice, top round steak, all damn day, that I was so engulfed in that lifestyle that everything that wasn't associated with it was taboo.
Okay.
I got rid of all my friends that partied, because they just didn't understand what the hell I was doing. Why are you doing that? Well, that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to bodybuild.
Yeah.
But the biggest one is I feel and I regret neglecting my daughter some of these activities with Popski here, because I was so just stuck on, I want to be a pro bodybuilder. I want to build this physique. There's eat, sleep, train. That's it.
I truly think there's a balance.
There is a balance. I didn't have it.
And I think that's the struggle for a lot of parents, and a lot of people in general. And that can go towards life. That can go towards, being a wife. That can go towards being a sister. Not just even kids. But in terms of kids, I think, and I think that's the struggle for a lot of parents, and a lot of people in general. And that can go towards life. That can go towards being a wife. That can go towards being a sister. Not just even kids, but in terms of kids, 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 in terms I mean, I started when Logan was young too. I want to say he was 7 when I started, because I've been in it for almost 10 years. And I think,
My daughter was 2 when I started working out.
oh shit, yeah, he wasn't that young.
Yeah.
So when I started in this sport, he was already, like, he would go to the gym with me. So there was a kids care at the gym for a little while, and then we would go together. And you know, he kind of, as I got more involved in it, because he was a little older, he watched, and I feel like he almost learned and absorbed some of it. Do I feel like we could have done vacations? Because financially, my savings went towards these trips. Yes. I am a single mom, have been a single mom his whole life. So I have had the entire household to provide for, which is just him and I really, but still, again, everything financially falls on me. So all of my savings, and this is something my dad has kind of given me shit about, the amount of money I could have saved over the last 10 years that I invested into bodybuilding. That could have been vacations with Logan. That could have been fun trips with Logan. I started feeling that awareness about 3 years ago, and I started making it a point. Every year in high school, we go on a summer trip. You know, him and I go somewhere, and we make memories, because I never got to go on family vacations, and I think that's why it didn't click for me, because I didn't have that. But then I'm like, God, you know, all these other kids talk about their summer vacations and their family trips, and you know, it sucks because Justy doesn't have that normal family. He doesn't have that, you know, 2-parent home. He's not getting these things. And so, you know, I think I don't necessarily regret anything that I've done in terms of bodybuilding. However, I realized an opportunity, and I think I don't regret it because I realized it before it was too late. And I've been able to capitalize on it and make those memories as he's gotten older. You know, I know he's going to leave high school and he's going to have fond memories of our time together as he grows into an adult. I'm not getting emotional.
You always do.
I know, it's my baby. I always get emotional with him.
It's all right, though.
But I know I've done a good job. And I know because I know from our relationship. I know because he loves fitness. His first job, he's holding a sign out in front of a gym. You know, it's not anything crazy, but it's at a gym.
Yeah.
You know, and, you know, he goes and works out with his friends. And when I take him to the gym with me, he still starts doing the bodybuilding poses. Like, fitness is a huge part of his life. And I value that because it's taught him to have some form of discipline as well. It's taught him hard work. And he understands that if he eats properly and he trains, his quads grow.
Yeah.
If he eats more, he gains weight. If he doesn't eat enough, he loses weight. Like, he's very aware of himself because of fitness. So in terms of parenting and bodybuilding, it can be an amazing tool for these kids. It's a confidence builder. Flip side of that, it does have a negative side to it when it comes to the mental aspect, which we can talk about later. But overall, the discipline it takes in this sport, the discipline that they watch in us, they've got to adopt some of it. They understand it.
No, I get that.
So I feel like as a parent, if you're considering bodybuilding and that is your holdup, that is your drawback from keeping you from competing, you really should reevaluate. Because doing something for yourself and investing in yourself and challenging yourself and being committed to follow through will teach your child to take on challenges, to face fears, to push themselves, to, if you really think you might want to do something, then do it. And they watch you lead by example. Mm-hmm. And I truly feel like Kasha's, she's driven. She's got her job. She's got her, for a 20-year-old, she's got a good head on her shoulders. And a lot of that is attributed to the fact that you lived a very structured lifestyle. You're very committed to your careers, your passions, your hobbies. You're committed to the people in your life. that commitment of a bodybuilder tends to ripple out like a wave in the ocean to our life.
No, I
and
get
our
that.
children
No,
feel that.
Absolutely. I feel, and I'm totally agreeing with you that she grabbed a lot of stuff watching me over the years. But when I think of my childhood, I have a lot of these trips and experiences and fun. I gotta keep it together a little bit.
Yeah.
I feel because I was so dedicated to just all my free time out of work and personal training and coaching, I want to go to the gym.
Yeah.
I would put her in the daycare for 2 hours. All my extra money went to feeding that 6,000 calorie a day diet.
Yeah.
All of that, and I didn't become pro because I just became realistic. Like I'm getting hurt. My genetics aren't allowing me to do it safely. There's no benefit for me to do that. So when I look back, like, fuck, I could have still enjoyed the lifestyle, but not sacrificed possibly my child's childhood memories that I could have provided for her. So I do have some regret.
Yeah.
Even though I have a tattoo that says "sacrifice without regret." Yep. There's some,
one. Yeah.
And it's only because it's blood related.
And in all reality, there's always going to be minor, and I think it's how we look at regret and what people look at regret and think. Like, a word is only associated to the meaning you give it. A regret doesn't have to mean, you internalize this negative emotion. It can be an awareness, an acknowledgement, and a thought that, like, I could have done better. However, with that awareness comes an opportunity to change the direction. Yeah. Just because she's not a kid, she's 20. That doesn't mean you guys still can't do family trips.
Oh, no,
and go,
no,
you know what I mean?
No.
So, but now it's different. It's, yes, she's not a child, but she's forever your daughter. So Logan got into high school. I realized I wasn't doing these family trips. Again, I don't have memories like you do. My childhood was not a normal family. So, I mean, I think I took one vacation my entire life. One. And as Logan got older, I'm like, you know what? As much as it was not like the funnest vacation. I mean, we went to Washington, D.C. and it was humid as fuck. And all we did was go look at historical stuff the entire time. We did go to one really cool water park, and I made a friend that I stayed in touch with like all the way through high school because I was in 8th grade. Actually, I think I stayed in touch with her through college too. I don't even remember now. But I remember that trip like vividly. I remember our hotel room. I remember, where we drove. I remember looking at the Pentagon outside of our window, and just like there's a fondness to it. And I realized he wasn't getting that. And it was partially because I didn't have it, partially because I was very focused on going pro, and then I was very focused on being a successful pro. So focused on it that at that point, when I realized this as we were going into high school, the only trip he really took was 2019 when we went to Canada, as I did the Vancouver Pro. That was the first time he went out of the country. And we get there, and I'm like so irritable. I'm like, I don't want to deal with kids right now. I just want quiet. I just want to relax. I just want to be in like this little zone bubble. And so my energy was shitty. Going into peak week obviously was like super like hyper focused on I got to train. I got to eat at a certain time. I still got to keep my structure. I got to be on point because I go on stage in a few days. And we did stuff. We saw stuff. It was beautiful, but it wasn't as fun as it should have been. So, I mean, we've done Mexico twice, 2 different parts of Mexico, and we've gone snorkeling, we've gone bungee jumping, like I fucking thought we were both gonna die. We've done zip lining. I mean, we've just shared experiences. So I, again, was realizing and starting to almost regret, what people call regret. I was starting to realize I was missing things. I wasn't doing things the way that I could doing things. And I pivoted and I corrected it. And I've made it a point to make these memories with him and give him those opportunities to have those memories down the road. And, it's everything we do now. It's like, we can't go back and change the past. However, we can learn from it, we can pivot, and we can refocus and reassess that energy and reinvest it where we want it.
It's deep, isn't it, guys? These conversations you don't hear very often from fitness professionals, not just bodybuilders, football players, basketball players. They all deal with the same shit. They all deal with the same shit. Yeah, they have a lot more money, but they all deal with the same shit. Life is about choices, a lot about sacrifices, a lot about decision making, problem solving. Mm-hmm. I like how you put that, missing. It's not a regret, you're just missing. Mm-hmm. So that's a problem that you have to problem solve. Mm-hmm. I like the solution.
Redirect, reinvest.
I like it. So today we talked fitness, relationships, some of the regrets we have. Mm-hmm. What else did we talk about? We talked about
amateur life.
Who the hell you are.
Yeah, gear. A little bit about gear. And that was only a little bit. There's so much about that fucking topic. Oh my God.
Touch that shit. We could, but we'll save that for another episode. Yeah. Because I feel today's fitness industry has... Who isn't on stuff now?
Yeah.
Who isn't?
I know.
15-year-olds.
People all the time claim they're natty just because they're in an off season. They ain't touched shit.
What the hell does that term mean anymore? Natty.
I'm in an off season and I haven't touched anything, so I'm natty, all right? So that's a big one right now.
Yeah, I would love to go into detail of what I used to take and what I take now. Because I feel a whole lot better now, but I will be transparent because of what I've taken. It has jacked me up today a little bit. Mm-hmm. So I will go into that on our next episode.
Yeah, that's a huge topic, and that happens a lot.
Yeah, it happens a lot. It happens a lot, but nothing is non-reversible if you just take the time, go get help, get your blood work, be safe. And if there's issues, start doing the protocols that your doctor and your physicians provide you. That is the key, guys. Don't be ignorant and not go get checked. I swear to God, that was one of my biggest downfalls, is not getting consistent blood work when I was younger. Go do it. Because high blood pressure, prostate issues, kidney, liver, the list can go on.
Yeah.
Erectile dysfunction, everything.
Yeah.
Those will come into play if you guys don't take the time to go get your blood work done. So Des, any finishing remarks you want to give to anyone today? Some words of wisdom.
To the athletes or to just people?
Say people.
Be a fucking good human. Be thoughtful. Be kind. There's, especially in this industry and social media, there is so much negativity. I feel like that is, I think, the biggest thing that I've come to in awareness, my awareness, I should say, is giving does not mean you're taking from yourself. And by that, I mean a word of encouragement, a compliment, a acknowledgement. We don't know what battles other people are facing. We don't know what stressors are going on in their life. And I see so many keyboard warriors out there, and it makes me sad. It really does, because...
Guilty a little bit here and there, but I don't care.
But, I mean, there's a difference in speaking your opinion and then tearing someone down. And I truly...
They started it.
Yeah. Are we 16 again?
Hey, I'm 25 in here. I'm 44 out here.
Okay.
That's all right.
But just spreading kindness. Yes, in this sport, in this industry, it's a competition. You step up on stage, you're competing with these people. But the reality is, some of the coolest friendships I've made are with other pro athletes,
Mm-hmm.
even in other divisions. It doesn't even matter. But that kindness goes a long way, because we're our own worst enemy in this sport. We, our own self-talk, our own self-thoughts, and that's for anybody in life in general. We all have the habit, and I think the world has created this concept where there's negative self-talk always. I do it myself. I catch myself all the time, and Carla, mentioned it last night. Desiree, that's a self-limiting thought. Get rid of it. Yes, ma'am, you're right, it is. But naturally, as humans, we do that. We tear ourselves down enough that when society does it, when other people do it, it does more damage than we see on the outside. And, I have come to a place where I've realized that my positivity can change someone's entire day. It can change their week. It can change their month. It can change their
Isn't
year.
that a great feeling?
It can save their life. You never fucking know. And it's a good feeling, but sometimes we don't even know we're doing it. And that's the thing.
No, but that's a self-reward. Like, personally, to me, like, for example, I see the UPS guy come up to my place or apartment. Dude, thank you for what you do.
Yes.
Hold on, window, officers, thank you so much for what you do. I know you don't hear it enough.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Kindness goes so far, and it is such a selfish world we live in, where people are so self-absolved and inconsiderate of others. And it's like, the reality is, our world is nothing without other people.
It's true.
It's like, people that think the only thing that matters is them, they're lonely. And the sad part is they're the only ones that can fix that. So I truly believe that the more people I can come in contact with, the more people I can talk to, the more people I can just be positive to and share that positive energy, somewhere, somehow, some way, that's going to change a life. And I love it. I love it. And I think that this society needs to just preach that more and push that more. Like, stop judging other people. They judge themselves enough.
Completely. And that's probably one of the biggest things I take away from with photography and all the creative stuff I do.
Oh, I
it's
bet.
Like, God, like you ladies, like, I look like that?
Yep.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, we look in the mirror and we do not see it.
How cool
We look
do you
in the
look?
mirror
Like,
and
look,
we think,
look at that.
negativity. And then you capture this and you're like,
it's such the biggest reward. I could care less about anything else.
yeah.
I get stoked for y'all. I think I get more stoked for y'all than you do for yourselves. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
look at this.
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean, especially in the fitness industry, we all wear like goggles. Everything we see is through a blurred lens, and we don't see the reality of what we actually look like. We see what we think we should look like, and then we see what our brain thinks is reality, and it's not. And I'm guilty of it. I look at myself all the time. I'm like, fuck, I'm fat. I'm out of shape. I need to lose weight, but at the same time, I'm like, no, I need to gain muscle mass. So it's a sacrifice. You end up hating the way you look in the moment for the bigger picture, but
it's a nonstop battle.
Yeah, it is. And my biggest thing is the less we can push that negative energy to other people, because chances are, if you're judging other people, there's something about yourself you're not happy with. It's never them that you're not happy with. It's something they're doing is triggering something inside of you.
Yeah, you just want them to bring that down to your level. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, positivity, spread love, kindness. I'm not one of those hippies. I'm not gonna say, "Oh, peace is love," but make a difference, make a positive difference. That's what we're here in this world to do. We are all here to make a positive difference. And, I remember telling my son this one of the times that we got into a huge fight. I said, dude, I'm not here to be your friend. I'm not here to, tear you down when you're in trouble. My goal is to give you what you need to be a positive impact on society, to contribute to society, and to be a good human being. And at the end of the day, if we are good human beings, we are going to leave a positive impact on this world. And at the end of the day, when we die, money doesn't matter, what we had doesn't matter. What is left behind is how people remember us, how people talk about us after we're gone. And that is all correlated to how we make them feel, not the shit we give them.
It's true. It's true. Changing lives.
Yes, that is the goal. One at a time.
Changing lives.
One at a time.
All right, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. Stay tuned for our next episode coming up. This is Mark of the Hungry One Podcast. Desiree Alferes IFBB Pro. Thank you so much for joining us today.
See you later.
But wait, no. Plug your coaching in a little bit. Where can they go hire you for personal training, online coaching, competition coaching, and photo shoot coaching?
Yeah. So we will link my Instagram as well as put my email in the details. But you can find me on Instagram, message me, DM me. I check them pretty regularly, obviously. But I love it.
No creeper shit, guys.
Yeah, we see those too, but they won't get responded to. They typically get deleted and occasionally will get screenshot and put on my story. So,
Blast.
Yeah. But for all of you who, guys or girls that are looking for nutrition coaching, transformation coaching, bodybuilding shows, posing, I do a little bit of all of it, and I love it. I absolutely love it. I love making a difference. I like to think I'm pretty good at it. My girl did her first show today and swept the fucking show and got her pro card in her first
day
show. And she's a natural athlete. So I work with natural athletes. I do work with people who are not natural as well. My biggest focus will always be and has always been health and nutrition. So I really do focus in and hone in on that. Training I absolutely love. So yeah, if you need help, you need guidance, you're just getting started, or you've had a few coaches and you don't feel like you've gotten the attention that you need, DM me, Desi1388 IFBB Pro, and there's an underscore right before IFBB Pro. So
it'll be in the link box. All right, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. Till next time, this is Mark of the 101 Podcast. Later.
See ya.